Hi friends and welcome back to another video. Today in this video we are going to look at how to handle missing values in our data frames. In order to handle missing values in our data frames, we use the following three functions. They are fillna, interpolate and dropna. The fillna and interpolate functions helps us to handle the missing values by filling another value, whereas the dropna function helps us to handle the missing values by deleting or dropping out the particular value. So let's get started. Now I have imported my Pandas library and imported the dataset. So this is our data in which we are going to handle the missing values. So here we can see that the places where we have NaN, we have the missing values. So we have to fill them. So in order to fill them, we use our function fillna, and let's try it out. So df.fillna, and in which now let's say I want to fill 0 to every values out there. So I will pass 0, and now here we can see that in the place of NaN we have filled the zeros over here. But the zeros here makes a bit sense in temperature column and wind speed column, but it doesn't make any sense for the even column. So how do we handle that? So in order to do that, we can use a dictionary. So let me create a variable rv, which is the replacing values, and here I'm going to take my column name temperature, and if there exists a null value in my column temperature, then I want to fill it with the element 0. And also in my wind speed, if there exists a element with null values, I will fill it with 0. And in my event column, if there exists a null value, I will fill it with the value no event. And the column here is named as temperature, so let's change it and let's run it out. And now let's use this value to fill in our data frame. So df.fillna, and in which I will pass the variable rb. And now here you can see that in the column temperature we have filled it with zeros, and in wind speed we have filled it with zeros, whereas in events we have filled it with no event. And there is an interesting parameter which we have in a fillna function, that is the method parameter takes two values, that is the ffill or bfill. Ffill stands for forward fill and the bfill stands for backward fill. So let's try them out. df.fillna, and in which I am going to use the parameter method, and firstly let's try ffill, the forward fill. So what is the difference here? So whenever you have a null value and you use your method to be ffill, then the value that is above your null value will be copied and stored in your null value. So here we can see that we have a null value here, and its previous value was 33, and when I use the method parameter and set it to ffill, I have replaced the null value with 33 here. And similarly here we have two null values, and the value above that was 26, and so we have filled it with 26 here. But here you can see a difference. I have no event here, and there is no specific value that is preceding over my null value there, and so it still ends up with the value NaN. And now let's try the new value bfill, that is the backward fill. So here you can notice the difference, that is in the place of your null values, the values succeeding after your null value will be replaced in your null value. That is, here I have my null value and the value 26 is succeeding after my null value, and so now this 26 will be replaced in my null value, and here you can see them. Here I have 30, and these two values will be filled with 30 now. And here this was a null value, and now as I used my bill fill value, and now the Sunny has been filled in my null value. So now let's look at our another function, that is interpolate. With the help of our interpolate function, we can come up with a better guess. Let me show you one example, df.interpolate, and let's run it. And here you can look at the values. The interpolate function only works for our numerical columns and not for the categorical columns like our event. So let's have a look at it. So what have we done here? So here you can see that this value was our null value, and now it has been filled with 29.5. So how come this can be a better result? This can be a better result because the previous value above my null value was 33 and the succeeding value was 26, and here with the help of our interpolate function we have come up with a result such that which is evenly spaced between both those values. So that is, in this case it is taken to be as an average of 33 and 26, whereas when it's come to 26 to 30, between we had two null values. So let me show you once again. This is my data frame and we had two null values, and in order to fill those both the null values, here our interpolate function came up with a result such that these four values are evenly distributed between themselves. That is, the difference between these two values are 1.3. Difference between 30 and 26.66 is 3.33. And our interpolate function works this way. And finally, we are going to look at our other function, that is the drop NA. With the help of our drop NA function, we can drop the rows where we have null values. So let me show you. df.drop NA, and now when I run it, so when you use drop NA function, it drops every row where it has at least one null value. So you can also change that by using the parameter thresh. So df.drop NA, and now let's say you want all the rows where it have at least two valid values. So in order to do that, we will use our thresh parameter. Thresh equals, we should pass it the value 2. And now here we can see that in every column at least we will have two valid values, and in such cases such as the rows 6 and 7, we have all the values. And yeah, that's all for today in this video. And in this video we looked at how to handle missing values in our Pandas data frame. Thanks for watching, and let's meet in the next video.